You're walking through a wax museum. The room is quiet, the lighting is atmospheric, and the craftsmanship is world-class. You see a figure standing near the exit. The clothes are authentic, the hair looks real. Even the texture of the skin seems to catch the light exactly like yours does. And then you look at the face. Something inside you recoils so violently that you actually take a step back. Your heart rate spikes, your skin crawls, and you feel a primal urge to put distance between yourself and this object. It looks human, almost. And that single word, almost, is enough to make your brain trigger a code red emergency. Logically, this makes no sense. You aren't looking at a predator with sharp teeth. You aren't looking at a weapon. You're looking at a piece of wax and silicon. If the figure looked like a simple cartoon, you'd be fine. If it looked like a literal skeleton, you'd be fine. But because it is 99% right, that missing 1% feels like a threat to your very existence. Why would almost perfect be scarier than obviously fake? From an energy standpoint, this reaction is a massive waste of resources. It leaves you stressed and distracted by a harmless object. Your brain, that high-speed survival engine usually obsessed with efficiency, shouldn't be wasting calories on a wax doll. So why hasn't evolution deleted this bug? Because in the cold world of survival, your brain isn't interested in your comfort. It's interested in its own ancient security schema. In the dark of your subconscious, your brain doesn't see a wax figure. It sees a pathogen proxy, a biological threat that could collapse your entire tribe. Today, we're decoding why the Uncanny Valley isn't a glitch, but a high-level defense system that kept our ancestors alive when they had to survive disease without a single pill. Welcome to Logic Schema. To understand the Uncanny Valley, we have to look at the biological blueprint of human connection. For 99.9% of our history, your ability to instantly recognize and audit another human was your greatest survival tool. In a world where ancient humans had no private life, your collective brain relied on being able to read every micro-expression and every subtle shift in a neighbor's face to maintain tribal harmony. Evolution invested a massive amount of neural real estate into this one task. We see faces in toast, in clouds, and in the dark because our brain is hardwired to find humanity everywhere. This was a vital security check to ensure that the person approaching your fire was a member of the tribe and not a rival human species. But the brain is a perfectionist. It doesn't just want to know if someone is human. It wants to know how human they are. In the wild, a human who is almost right is a signal of a catastrophic failure. If a member of the tribe looked off, if their eyes were slightly sunken or their skin had a strange, waxy sheen, it was a biological alarm. This is the foundation of the Uncanny Valley. When you see a robot or a wax figure that is 99% human, your brain doesn't celebrate the 99% success. It panics over the 1% error. That 1% is the logic gate that tells your brain, this isn't a healthy ally. It's a threat to the group's health. What is your brain actually afraid of when it looks at an almost human face? The answer lies in how our ancestors managed to survive disease. Before the invention of medicine, the single greatest threat to a tribe wasn't a predator. It was an invisible virus or a parasite that could wipe out everyone in a single brutal winter. If a member of your tribe contracted a lethal illness, they became a pathogen proxy. Their face might lose its healthy elasticity. Their eyes might become glassy. Their movements might become jerky and unnatural. To your internal survival systems, this person is no longer a resource. They are a walking biological bomb. If you stayed too close, you risked biological bankruptcy, infecting yourself and everyone you loved. The Uncanny Valley is the biological wall we built to keep those pathogens at bay. When you see a figure with static, glassy eyes, your brain triggers the same disgust protocol it would use for a sick individual. It doesn't see art. It sees contagion. This prehistoric security schema forces you to feel a physical revulsion so that you will move away from the source of infection. This is why the fear is so visceral. It's not a thought. It's a reflex designed to protect the group from a total wipeout. There is an even deeper layer to this fear, the logic of the unmoving. Think about what ancient humans did at night. They slept in tight communal groups for safety. In that environment, a human body that looked human but didn't breathe, didn't twitch, and didn't react was the ultimate red alert. It meant there was a corpse in the camp. To your prehistoric brain, a corpse is a high-level health crisis. A body that has stopped moving quickly becomes a magnet for scavengers and a breeding ground for bacteria. Your brain is running a corpse detection script. It sees the human shape, but the lack of the spark of life, the rise and fall of a chest or the micro flicker of an eyelid triggers a panic response. This is why we are so unsettled by wax figures or frozen robots. Our brain thinks we are standing next to a source of decay. This protocol ensured that ancient humans didn't linger near the dead, which was a primary way they managed to survive without ever understanding what a germ was. The Uncanny Valley is the ghost of that instinct, still guarding the camp. It is the sentinel of the living, and it never stops watching. Today, we are pushing this ancient recognition engine to its absolute breaking point. We are currently living in a massive evolutionary mice match, where our prehistoric hardware is trying to process digital skin and mechanical bodies that don't follow the laws of biology. Think about AI-generated faces and deepfakes. When you see a video of a person where the skin is perfectly smooth, no pores, no wrinkles, no tiny imperfections, your brain doesn't think they look beautiful. It thinks they look like a talking corpse. Because in the wild, pores and texture were signs of active, healthy skin. AI often fails to capture microjitters, the tiny, involuntary movements of the human face that signal life. When those jitters are missing, your brain triggers the pathogen proxy response. We see this play out in video games and virtual influencers. No matter how high the resolution, digital characters often feel wrong because their eyes don't follow the logic of human focus. This is the same reason humanoid robots, like the machines from Boston Dynamics, can feel terrifying. When a robot moves with a perfect mathematical smoothness, it triggers our ancient fear of diseased or parasitic movement that doesn't match a healthy human rhythm. Even social media filters fall into this trap. When a filter smooths out your face into a featureless mask, you inadvertently push yourself into the uncanny valley. You might think you look perfect, but to the ancient brain of everyone looking at your photo, you look like a threat. You've removed the very pores and lines that signal I am healthy and alive. This digital perfection is actually a biological glitch that triggers our prehistoric alarm systems, making us feel uneasy rather than connected. So, the next time you feel that inexplicable chill when looking at a robot or a deepfake video, don't be annoyed at your brain. You're just listening to a 50,000-year-old survival expert who is checking your biological report card. Your brain isn't being irrational. It's running a high-speed audit to make sure you aren't walking into a biological trap. The Uncanny Valley isn't a flaw. It's a tribute to how much we value the living. It is the invisible force that reminds us that being human is a messy, physical reality that cannot be easily faked by wax or silicon. We are the species that survived because we were obsessed with the subtle, imperfect cues of life. When you feel that wrongness, don't look for a way to fix it. Instead, appreciate it. That chill in your spine is proof you belong to a lineage that survived every plague by knowing exactly what human looks like. It's a reminder that no matter how smooth the filters become, your brain will always know the truth. Subscribe to Logic Schema as we decode the human blueprint, one glitch at a time. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a search for the truth. And remember, if the hair on your neck stands up because something looks almost human, don't look closer. Back away. The sentinel of the living is telling you that something is dead. Thanks for watching and stay curious.